Hello everyone and welcome back. So in today's tutorial, I'll be guiding you on how to cut and sew this trendy pencil skirt with gathered side ruffles. I'll also be showing you how to sew the skirt with full lining on it. And to begin guys, these are the materials needed for the skirt: a short zipper, 1 meter cotton lining, a fabric gum for the waistband, and 2 African print fabric, one for the side ruffles, and this other one for the main skirt. I'm going to use this fabric to draft a pencil skirt pattern. I have folded the fabric into two like this with its wrong side, and I'm going to refold it again because I want to cut the front and the back together. I'm leaving 2-inch zip allowance at the center back. And first I'm going to take the full length measurement, leaving out 1 inch for the waistband. I'll cut out the black top part, that's why I'm taking my measurement from that point. I'll take my full length measurement at 19.5 inches. Mark it on there. Mark it the second time for a straight line. Then I'll now use my straight ruler to square line across. And from there, I'm going to add 4 inches from the line. This part will be attached to the lining for the lining not to show on the right side of the skirt. Then I'll square a straight line on it again. And starting from the 1 inch at the waistline, I'll now take the waistline to hip line measurement at 9 inches. I'll then draw a straight line on the marks. That point now is my hip line. Next guys, starting from the center front, I'm going to take 1/4 of my waist measurement, that is the total waist measurement divided by 4. I'll mark that on the waistline and then add 2 inches stitching allowance. On the hip line, I'll also measure 1/4 of my hip measurement. That is the hip measurement divided by 4, then also add 2 inches stitching allowance. And then for the full length, I'll take what I have on the hip line minus 1 inch. Mark it on that line too. I've taken all these measurements from the center front guys. I also want to mark the darts because I need to add 1 inch for the darts on the side before I can start cutting out. I'll measure my nipple to nipple measurement, that's 3.5. And then for the dart depth, I'll measure 4 inches. Connect the 2 points with a vertical line. Then add 1/2 inch on each side of the line for the dart. And that's what makes it 1 inch. I'll be adding the 1 inch on the sides. From there guys, I'm now going to draw the outline of the skirt by connecting the marks on the waistline, hip line and the full length line. You can use your curved ruler here. After I'm done drawing, I'll first cut out at the bottom edge, then fold the extra 4 inches in that manner. I've folded and I'll cut it this way since it shouldn't be straight. This is the part that will be folded and stitched on the lining. And as you can see, it's not straight. From there, I'll go ahead to notch the exact full length of the skirt on both sides. Remember here I'm holding both the front and the back part. Then after that, I'll now cut out the black border, and if you can recall, it was not part of the skirt. And that's all for drafting. I now want to cut lining for front and back pieces. This lower part will remain folded like this. Then only cut the lining for the remaining upper part here. I'll do the same for the back part as well. And what I'm going to do next is to stitch the lining on the fabric, starting with the front. I'm putting right sides together, then I'll start to pin from this end. I'll continue pinning to the other end. From there, I'll stitch on the pinned area, also stitch on the sides with 1/2 inch. And I'll just repeat the same for the back pieces. Here is what I have after joining the lining to the fabrics. I've also given them a very good press. Now I'll put the front on the back pieces, and I'm making sure everything is well aligned. And I'll just trace out the center front to the back pieces. This is to know I'll be joining the back pieces. You can also call it your center back. And from there I'll measure 5.5 inches for the zipper. You can decide to use 6 inches. Then from the bottom edge I'll measure 6 inches. So now I'll loosely stitch around the zipper area, have normal stitches here, then another loose stitches here at the slit area. This is now the back part after joining the 2 pieces. This area is for the zipper, even though I've loosely stitched for now. I've made a box slit at this area, that's why I've stitched the seams on one side. And I'm going to notch a little bit to have them spread. Moving forward, I now want to stitch the darts. I'll measure 3.5 inches starting from the center back. That's the nipple to nipple measurement. I'll measure that on the other side, then connect with a vertical line like this. From there I'll measure 4.5 inches dart depth on both sides too. After I'm done with that, I'm also going to measure 1/2 inch now on each side of the line. Then just draw the darts, and from there I'll head over to the sewing machine to stitch the drawn darts. I'm going to do the same also for the front part. The darts are already stitched for both the back and the front parts. What I'm going to do next is now to work on the ruffles, but first I want to put in the measurement on one side of the skirt, which is the left side. I'll be stitching only this side for now. Remember, the right side will be stitched after I'm done stitching the ruffles. Yeah guys, I'm done stitching the left side of the skirt. Now I want to measure where the ruffles will sit. And at this left top edge, I'll measure 4 inches. Then measure another 5 inches at the center front. Now I'll draw a curve passing through the marks to the right corner. And what I have at this corner is 2.75 inches. I'm now going to do the same on the back part as well. And when I was measuring the 5 inches on the front, at the back I realized it's below the slit, so now I had to go up a little bit. I measured 6.25 inches. I'll connect with a curve passing through the marks. And I had to also change the center front to be 6.25 inches. Then draw another new curve passing through that point. It's now time to use the other fabric for the ruffles. It's very long. I cut 5 meters long and 10 inches wide. I've folded this edge, then made gathered stitches here. I'll first measure the drawn curve on the skirt to know what measurement I'll gather it to. And what I have here is 49 inches, so I'll just put it aside and continue with the ruffles. I'll pull the upper string and gather it to 49 inches, same as the skirt. And here is it guys, make sure you take your time in spreading the gathers evenly. After that, I'm now going to open the skirts, then put the right sides together. I'll put it in this manner so that by the time I'm done stitching, I'll just flip it back, and this is how it should look like. And from this bottom edge, I'm going to pin it down. I'm pinning it down on the drawn curve, and I'll continue with that to the other end, then stitch. This is it after stitching. It looks pretty already. Now I want to stitch the sides that I didn't stitch earlier. First, I'm going to make sure everything is well aligned, plus the ruffles. Then using the measurements, I'll stitch on the side from top to bottom. That's done. Now I want to stitch the waistband on the waistline before fixing the zipper. I've cut the waistband already, which is my waist measurement, and it's 4 inches. It's folded guys. I've also ironed the fabric gum on it. And starting from this edge, I'm going to stitch one side of the band on it all round. You can first pin if you want. Then flip it and make a top stitch like that. I'm done stitching the waistband to the skirt, guys. The final thing remaining is now to fix the zipper on this space, and I'll quickly do that on my sewing machine. Yeah guys, I'm done and here is the final look. I hope you all try making this skirt and share your experiences in the comment section. Kindly don't forget to subscribe, like and leave a comment.